about it, but hey, man, we make do. That's the city way.
All that matters.
You know what I'm saying?
As long as it works.
Alright, cool.
It's like when you roll up an ugly spliff, but it still smokes. That's all that matters. As long as
The end goal is the same.
Exactly.
Ugly spliffs still smoke.
Exactly.
Name of the episode right there. With the quote ready.
Hot mic.
Hot mic. What it do is go is popping y'all. It's your homie ATM.
It's your boy O.
And we are the Lingo Baby, season 4. Season 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
season-
Season 4. Wow. You confirmed it. Season 4, episode 4. Wow, that's beautiful.
Balance.
I love that. Wow, I love that
Cool.
balance. Great. And with that being said, y'all, we have an amazing guest. I hope y'all know him. I feel like people know you more than they know us. But you know, the point is that like, you know, you're great. You're known by many names. You know, known with many hats. I'll let you introduce yourself best. So I'm gonna let you do that.
I'm Kelan, A.K.A Afro Thee Artisan.
The Artisan.
Facts. I changed it. It was the Afro Artisan. Now it's Afro Thee Artisan.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that I'm making music, it just sounds better that way to me.
I like that.
You
Okay.
usually rock with Fro?
Yeah. I actually just locked my hair last month. Like as of 2 days ago, my hair is officially locked for a month.
Wow.
So yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Why
thank
did you end up doing that?
I've been playing with the idea for years, but like I never wanted to commit because I felt like I would lose my versatility. Like everybody always says that, but then people with locks are like, okay, I can put it up here,
Yeah, you
here.
can do a
Like
lot
locks
with
are
it.
still versatile, but I just didn't want to commit to it. And then I
Right.
realized that throughout most of the year, like these cold months, I'm not wearing my afro, ever.
No, yeah.
The second my scalp feels moist on this cold air, it's clipped for me. Headache
Yeah.
for the rest of the day. So my hair be twisted regardless.
Right.
So it's like in these last few months before leading up to when I actually locked it, I had my hair in twist for at least 2 months. Like the month would end, I'd take it out, wash it, put it right
I was
back
just about
in.
to say you were rocking your twist for a minute.
For a minute, and it's
For a
like, you know
minute,
what?
yeah.
I'm out as fucking well. You
Yeah.
know, it is. It's time. It's time.
Okay.
I just
It
committed.
is. Yeah.
Word.
Exactly.
So, what do you do? You know.
I do. What
artistry.
don't I do? That's the
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for real. That's like how I wanted you to,
Profiles,
yeah.
Well, I feel like for me, how I first I guess this is my first time meeting you, but I feel like I've seen and heard of you through this creative person over here, flicking you up, and like those were like dope shots. So like I thought like it was a model, then to come to find out it was like a whole like art section. So like what is your niche? Is there a
You know what I'm
niche?
saying?
My niche, I don't even know. Cause see, I started off as an artist. I was a visual artist before anything, and then I found poetry, and I reclaimed my love for art as I found poetry at the same time, because I was in college for a while, did not work out, but right before I left, I had rekindled my love for creating.
Yeah.
So I started promoting myself as an artist while I was writing in the back seat. Like I was writing poems, and I had a book ready from the second that I left college, or at least a couple months after college. But nobody heard none of my poems. Nobody read the book. That book did not see no light of day for 5 years.
Okay.
So to everybody, I was just an artist.
Right.
But to me, it was like, I already saw where I was branching out. So now I'm a digital artist because I left transition or traditional. So I'm a digital artist. I model when I can, which is less now, but I still love it. Poet, published author, because I have one book, and I have another book coming out.
Word.
And now I'm trying to do music.
Wow. Man,
I
many
say
talents,
many
man.
hats, man.
feel me?
No, yeah, I think I definitely got introduced the artist way. I don't remember how I met you. I don't remember how I
have
followed
no
you.
idea. It just happened.
I just remember I found you through something.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Followed you. And that was that. And then I was cool with, another artist on this season where I was cool with Onike. And Onike knew you.
Facts.
Somewhat, some way. So I just remember, like, I think I had asked her, like, because to me, I was like, this nigga seems man known. So I was like, to me, I don't want to reach out for this photo shoot. I don't got no incentive. I don't got, I didn't know what the vibes was. Some artists, people from Brooklyn be mad bougie. So you don't really know how to approach certain
Yeah,
things.
true.
So I just remember asking her as a person who had ever known you, like, you think this person? And she was like, oh, yeah, you should definitely. I was like, cool. Now I know. And, so that was that. And it's like, so I definitely got introduced that way. And then I saw the poetry and saw all that because, I had, first thing I saw was just, the art. Just the drawings. Immediately, was drawn. Your style has, changed a lot
A
and
lot.
like progressed a lot in so many different ways.
Thank you.
I think that it's beautiful to see that your art has become like so much a manifestation of like kind of all aspects of you. And I think it's beautiful the way that like your poetry and your art kind of coincide sometimes, like the way your drawings and your poetry kind of coincide, and how you're able to kind of visualize things that you also say in words, because I see it in just like the characters you draw, the things that you like manifest into your art. Like I think it's dope. I think it shows just overall progression of like you're an artist, you're a character, you're a person who like just been through shit, grown up, went through college, didn't work, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like all that art kind of really shows that overall progress. No, but I think that's dope. So how did like it all begin? Yes.
That I was in college for a year and a half. I went to St. Francis College, and it was just not for me, because I went there just because like that's what you're supposed to do. And once I left high school, I had nothing going for me. I knew somehow, some shape or form, I wanted to write a book, because I was always good in English classes and I was good with writing short stories and shit. So once I left college, or once I left high school, my mom was like, yo, it's time to go to college. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I let her pick the college. Like, that's how disconnected from the whole process I was like, you pick.
You had no stake, you didn't care.
I had nothing. She showed me the book, like, here's all the lists. I said, Mom, as long as they have a basketball team, I don't care. Just choose.
Pick something.
And I was trash at basketball at the time, so I don't know why I said that.
That was your contingency?
Facts. It was the height.
It was the height.
Yep. Senior year of high school, I started playing basketball. I was trash. Niggas said, yo, just stand there under the hoop, grab rebounds. So, you know, now I'm just Dennis Rodman out here, because that's what I locked in, and then I built the game around that. But on the topic of art, once I got to college and I realized that I'm not here for any reason, I was just getting hit with so much stress, and like the expectations were crushing me, because I wasn't performing as well as I should have. Because I kind of coasted through the last 2 years of high school, because I knew I was smart, and my teachers kept telling me, oh, you know, if you apply to yourself, you'll get better. Yeah. And they kept telling my parents, oh, it seems like he's just aiming for like
bare minimum,
exactly,
like what I need,
And that's it's facts. Because if you tell me,
bro, it's public school. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's whatever. It's like high school. I feel like everybody was doing that. You know what I'm saying?
But the problem is, once you get to college, you can't do that no more. And I didn't know that. And believe it or not, I have always been a very quiet person. Like, now you see me and I'm talking, I would never say anything to anybody. And that was throughout all levels of school, even into college. I didn't like come out my shell till after I left college. So when I was in college dealing with all the bullshit, I didn't have anybody to like talk to. I didn't go to no clubs or nothing. So it was just me and then my classes, and my classes were trash.
Yeah.
So after a while, in the first semester, I started reading some poetry books, and every time I read, I'm like, I can write this shit. Like,
Right.
Whack.
So one random music class, music for me was one of those classes where if I zoned out for a second, I don't know anything that's happening for the rest of the class.
Okay.
At all. And I'm not a person who can maintain focus for a very long time. So I'll randomly get distracted and then come back and it's like, oh shit, well, what are they doing? Like, niggas got instruments out and shit. I got my book. I'm like, okay, whatever. All right. So there was this one specific day in music class that kind of set everything in motion for me, because that day I was just reading the poetry books, and it was just poetry in my mind. And I was just in that class, and I felt like I was about to explode, because everything was going on around me, and I was just stuck there, not knowing anything. So St. Francis has a bookstore like built in the basement. So I just got up, left, pretend like I was going to the bathroom, whatever. Like, you know, college, they're not gonna ask you where you're going. I just got up, left, bought a notebook, and then brought it back to class. And every time I went to that class, now I'm just writing poems in there. Like, I'm not even looking up no more. I'm not pretending like I'm paying attention.
So you just completely just zoned out.
Yep, completely. Because that was literally, for me, that was the only way I was gonna make it through any of the classes.
Right.
Because another class like that for me was a history class, and I physically couldn't go to that class anymore. Like, I would walk up to the door, turn, and then just feel like my heart's about to pump out my chest, and I'd just turn and just walk right past. Never went back to that class. So I started writing poetry just as a way to flex my writing muscle. And the way my classes were set up in my first year of college was that there was a 3-hour break between my classes because I didn't want to go. Yeah. So I chose my classes very late, and there was just a gap that I couldn't fill with anything. So at that time, I was looking at a bunch of Marcus Prime art and watching a lot of Young Justice. I loved the art style of Young Justice, and I just kind of like merged those two in my head with like little bits of my old style, because I used to do anime style when I was drawing, but that was back in like
I peeped
early
the
junior
Kill
high.
la Kill cosplay.
Oh yeah. In fact, that was actually a commission too. I was happy to do that.
Word.
So happy, because that was my character, Envy. And yeah, when it comes to art, man, my art and my poetry kind of saved me in a way, in my opinion, because I had to leave college after the first semester of my second year because I felt like I was literally going to lose myself even more at that point, because I had nothing going for me. So I just kind of like, I left. I knew I had nothing holding me there.
Were you majoring in anything?
I was majoring in English just because I wanted to publish a book, but it was just English, period. Like no specific
nothing,
part
just
of
English. Yeah.
Like niggas was asking me, "Oh, you want to be an English teacher?" Like no.
You study English. Like.
I just thought it was gonna be easy to go in, get my degree, and get out, but it didn't work that way. So I left college and just gave my life to my art. Like I feel like I literally gave my life to my art, because I don't think I would be here without it, because I'm struggling as it is now with trying to do what I love and putting all my love into what I do. So if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would do
right now.
Right.
Exactly. So it's just, ever since then, I just kept driving, and now I'm branching out into everything more, because I love to create, and that's the only thing right now that makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
So I'm just putting that into anything that I can just put my signature on.
Right, bro. I fuck with that. Tell me about, I know you mentioned your character Envy, but tell me about your sins catalog of your art. Like, where did that inspiration come from?
Well, I always loved certain mythology, like Greek mythology. I'm big on.
Me too.
And I always loved the concept of 7 deadly sins, especially because one of my favorite, well, I didn't realize it at the time, but one of my favorite animes was Full Metal Alchemist, and they had 7 deadly sins. Beautiful character design.
Absolutely.
I loved it so much. It's one of my top, and I'm a big anime head. I have no problem admitting that.
Don't say that.
I was waiting for that one. I was waiting for that one. Wow.
Jeez. Talk, bro.
You don't want me to start talking about One Piece. I'll go on forever.
Come on.
Oh, no.
We caught up.
Finish your thought, please. Oh my god.
But basically, I always loved the sins, and actually, the whole sins, like that's the core of my art, the core of my story, and the core of everything that I do right now. But it came by complete accident. I was watching Naruto one day, and there was a scene where Shikamaru's dad put his arm around him and was just like telling him some shit, like you would tell your son, like, yo, keep your head up, blah blah blah. And I paused it, took a picture of that, because I just loved it. I loved the way it looked, and then I turned it into a piece where it was just a black woman and then like a devilish character with his arm around her, to like kicking games, telling bullshit. And as soon as I finished that piece, I knew I needed it tatted. Like I got it tatted on my leg the same month, maybe even the same week. And as soon as I finished, I was like, you know what, I got to give this character a name, so I named him Lust. And as soon as I said Lust, I got to do the rest of the sins. I can't just do one out of the 7. So from there, it was Lust, then Envy. After that, I did Pride, which I redesigned a couple times. Right. Wrath is also going through a redesign, because Wrath is like, even though Lust is the fan favorite, for me, and when I actually branch out into my comic book, which is what I'm working on now, Wrath and Envy are like the main characters of a beginning story, because I have to tell each story as they come together. So I'm starting with Wrath and Envy.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Yo.
There's Wrath, Envy, Pride, Greed, Sloth.
They all have their own like colorway too.
Yeah, everybody got their own colors. Everybody got their own personalities, backstories, and shit.
Sloth. so much. Sloth. Wow.
I love sloth.
I love sloth.
I'm working on an animation with sloth too.
Really?
Yeah, it's gonna be done in a couple of days. I was working on that shit. That's why I went to Barnes and Nobles to sit down and work on this shit. But you can't even sit down no more, son.
He said, "Nah, you gotta go.
You gotta go. I don't know where you gonna go, but you
gotta go. You can't be here."
I miss the days when you can walk into Barnes and Nobles. You see those kids just sitting in the manga aisle, just on the floor reading,
just
chilling.
Yeah, that shit is gone.
What a time! Wow, what a time for all.
But speaking of the manga, like you're talking about envy and wrath being, the center of yours. Like, so tell me about that story. Like, what does that world look like?
Well, my sins are a part of a series called Sinners, and within Sinners, there's technically 3 different storylines, and it goes Akuma's Wrath, which is a story of envy and wrath. Then there's Akuma's Angels, which I put together during the quarantine because I had nothing else to do but draw. So that's where it's a lust-focused story arc that happens before the whole Sinners universe stuff, just because I wanted to explore more not safe for work art and I wanted a series that I can just pump full of characters, like forever. And then the third one is just Sinners, where it's like they finally all come together for one common goal. Because each of my characters, they just want to take over the world, however they see fit. Pride is doing it through entertainment. He's trying to be like the rock star. Greed is like just, he's like the underground dog. Like he got his own gang and he's just trying to do it through money and through the underground. Wrath is just trying to do it because, Wrath is half demon, half angel. So that's basically what the storyline is about, because he comes down from my version of heaven, and, Envy pretty much takes him under her wing type thing. So I follow them, and the way the storyline is, it starts with them two, and then I actually have my own character in there because me and Lust are so intertwined that I can't put him in there without having my character to interact with him.
Right.
So that's basically what the 2 main storylines are about. Wrath and Envy, trying to find out his backstory and all that, and then explore Envy's lust for power and stuff. And then it's me and Lust going back and forth. I have comics where it's just me at work, and I'm talking to a woman. I'm like, here's the shirt you asked for, and then Lust is in my ear yo, bro. You see the way she look at you, bro? You gotta get on that. I'm like, nah, I'm not trying to do that, And with the way my life has kind of turned around, it really changed the way that I write my character, my character Afro, because I went through a year of abstinence. So Lust was supposed to be my embodiment of my over sexual nature. So now that I've gone through a year of abstinence, it's okay, let me change up this relationship now, because Afro starts off as this super sexual guy who's obsessed with or absorbed with lust, and then now there's a rift, because all of a sudden I'm not doing nothing. I just realized last night, laying in bed, 4 a.m., woke up out of my sleep yo, I've had sex once in the last year. Sheesh. And to me that is wild. Sheesh. That shit is wild.
More power to you, my brother, because wow.
I feel that.
I don't wish that on nobody.
I don't want nobody either. I've definitely been there, brother. But that's fire that you can be going through, a drought, and then that inspires a whole story and a whole narrative, bro. That's amazing.
But the thing was, the drought was intentional.
Yeah.
That's what set it off for me. Because if I'm going through a drought, it's a drought. I'm not gonna search for nothing. But that was the first time I really said, you know what? I'm just gonna stop everything and try to figure out what's going on. And it was alright. I learned a lot, but I'm trying to be back in the streets, and I'm bored. I learned enough to where I need to figure it out. It's if I'm in the gym every day shooting, and there's no game ever coming out, I'm not shooting no more. What the fuck am I shooting for?
Play a game, right?
Yeah.
Facts.
Wow, that's okay. Fair point. No, yeah. I remember we spoke about it over quarantine. That was the funny part about it, because I'm just wow, we spoke 7 months in to this whole thing, and I was just wow, no, good for you, because wow, Must be, you know, like that's great. I was like, but it was funny because I knew a couple people who were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
A couple people were doing it for like different reasons or whatever, like personal or whatever. But it was so funny because I would see it and then I would just see all like the creations that would come out with like lust.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, wow, this man is really going through it. Like up here, he's really going through it because I'm looking at lust and I was like, wow. And then we spoke about just that overall theme and concept that like there's such like a strong connection with like you as a person and you creating lust and then your character in lust and just how that manifested all in all. Like, for God's sakes, like you have him tattooed on you essentially. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's like your first rendition of that character, and that's beautiful. And I think that definitely putting yourself through something like an abstinence break opens your eyes to a lot of different shit about yourself, about like your relationships to people, both affectionate, romantically, sexually, your relationship with your art, how that manifests itself, like how you can create art about like sexual desires through a year of abstinence, you know what I'm saying? Like through a year of like also like, and no niggas not doing none of this, you know what I'm saying? But it's like that
that's
also,
the only
you know, that's what you got, exactly. And it's like you utilized it well, if I must say. Like you created a lot of content during quarantine, and like, you know, I know you're a Virgo. Yeah, I know you're a perfectionist as well.
Tatted on me as well.
You know what I'm saying? Wow, 2 Virgos in a day. I love that. Yes.
Virgo energy.
No, like y'all are like, and I see that element in both of you, like our previous guest and you. Like, there's this element of like perfectionism in the stuff that you do. Yeah. So like, I know that a part of you was probably like, I could have created more. I could have done more.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or I could have been started this music shit. Or I could have been committed to this. Or like, you know, but it's like, that's all. I think quarantine's also kind of just like time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that shit. It's both a construct and we're both a slave to it. Like, it's both. Because it's like, you only have so much time. Like, the year's dead done. You know what I'm saying? And it's like kind of like heart-wrenching because you're like, oh shit, like.
Yeah, you start looking back on what you did and didn't do.
And like, didn't do. And it's very easy to fixate on what you didn't do. And I feel like as any kind of creative, like, I don't know, I feel like any kind of creative, it's so easy to fixate on, damn, we could have done so much more. Even now, like, me and him will sit there and talk about, damn, we should have done this, like, for this last season, or we should have. And it's like, hindsight is always 20/20, you know what I'm saying? But, no, wow. A lot of art came out. You did a lot. You did a lot this quarantine, yeah.
How do you manage with juggling, you know, the narratives of so many like characters, you know? Because that's always something I wonder, you know, like creating a backstory for like, you know, making everyone feel like there's depth, you know, which is like you mentioned anime earlier, and like I always wonder like how do they like write for all these characters? And I mean, of course they kind of like back on archetypes and shit a lot, you know, and the synthetics and all that shit, but like, how do you create like a story for each person, you know? Like, do you just get into that mindset, or is it like, you know, if it's the narrative?
It's definitely got to come from anime. Anime is the biggest inspiration because, like you said, a lot of anime, when they do characters, they'll just pick an archetype and then run with it. Like, my favorite anime genre for a time was sports anime because I love the way they animate the characters. I love feeling like I'm a part of the team. But one thing they do is like they'll take the archetypes. Like, there was a time where I was watching 3 back-to-back different sports animes, and I would see the same character that's just, he's there because he's big. And now he's pushing through everybody. And it's like, okay, I've seen this in volleyball, basketball, and now I'm seeing it again in football. It's like, okay, this is kind of boring. So I went away from that. And then there's anime like One Piece, where they have so many characters. And they still find a way for you to care about all of them.
Yeah.
And then there's anime like Naruto, which will just punch you with hours and hours of backstory. Yeah. And it's like, you have to care about this character now because you watched him cry for 7 episodes. So it's like, I love seeing good character design. I love seeing good character backstories. So now when I create a character, I feel like I have to give them something else because they can't just be a random pretty face. Like, I drew a bartender in one bar scene and I drew him live, and I was like, yo, I gotta find a name for him. Somebody put a name in the chat. Bro. I ended up naming him Sean. Went from Sean to John, and now Sean is a big component of my Sinners series. Like, he's gonna be appearing, and there's one rendition of him in all of my art, and it's like, okay, I can't just draw him and not give him something to do. So that's exactly why I started the Alchemist Angel series, because I just kept pushing out characters and I needed a place to put them to where they existed. So like during the quarantine, when I was in the middle of my abstinence and I had nowhere to put this abundance of sexual energy, I just started drawing mad sexual art. And it was like, I would literally sit in my room, as sad as it sounds, I would sit in my room, drink a little Jose Cuervo, some shit.
Get to it.
Get to it.
Throw on some music and I would just draw. And the way it was like, it started off with just, a girl commissioned me to do a logo for her. She wanted it to be like an alien mixed with like a black girl, but I leaned too far towards the alien. So when I showed her, she's like, "Oh, can you like
dial it back?"
Exactly. But like she liked the overall art. I looked at it, I was like, I like this fucking design. So I saved it, fixed whatever I needed to fix, gave it to her, and I turned that headshot into a whole new character. So now Alchemist Angels is like basically all about women who are pretty much demons. Like the demon lord in Akama's in the whole Sinner series is Akama. That's Wrath's father. So he's like the guy in the underworld for me. So Alchemist Angels are like, that's all his daughters who aren't fit to fight. So he sends them to Earth to live amongst humans because their whole idea, their whole goal is to find love. So each of them have their own idea of intimacy and stuff. So my first 3 characters are Nekoma, Bubbles, and Pixie.
What's the blue-haired one?
Blue-haired one is Pixie. That's the one I was talking about with the commission that I turned into.
Word, no, that's dope. Like, just like from the angle you picture of them, like, yo, this is OT.
Yeah, Pixie's all about like physical affection, which I'm huge on, which is why I hated my abstinence break and why I hate the way the world is now, because I can't get a fucking hug. That shit hurts. So she's all about physical affection. Bubbles is all just quality time. She just wants you to be around her. And then Nekoma is also physical affection, but that's more like roughhousing. Like she want to wrestle, like she want to fight. And then but Pixie's more physical affection on the side. Like she just wants to fuck. Yeah. Period. Like however you give it to her type shit. So I just want to play on a lot of different love languages because people love different ways. My number one love language is physical affection, but it's also like I need you to just be there. I don't care if we're just sitting down doing two completely different things. I just want you to be there. So I just had to put that into art however I can.
Wow, yeah, that's really a dope like theme to run with. Love languages and then enforcing it like with devils. That's fire.
Thank you. Thank you.
Interesting mix on everything. Because, like, like you were talking about it, and I was like, okay, I'm seeing the love languages, like, aspect play in. And I, like, didn't think about that. Like, I didn't realize that it was, like, that heavy on, like, a reliance of, like, a mixture of that. And that's dope. Like, I think, I don't know, to me, you're, like, a very good testament of just, like, people's thought processes like going a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I see that with many people's arts. Like, oh, I think it's dope that they chose to do that like that. But like I know people that are like you're like you could draw well. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know people that's like, okay, yeah, they could draw well or like they're. I think you stand out to me specifically because I think that there's a very interesting style there. You know what I'm saying? That transforms as much as you do, I guess. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like both growth and in terms of like I love art that's influenced by like history. Like I love that's like influenced by personal history. Like I love that you could go through this like style of drawing and like that idea of making the comic or even just making like backstories for these characters based off the love you have for anime. You know what I'm saying? And just having that love for other forms of art and how that manifests back into your art is beautiful. I think that people don't really understand or really take value to how other art influences people's art. You know what I'm saying? And I think that shows very well in the stuff that you do. I think that, there's a certain piece that I'm trying to like reference right now, and it's going completely over my head.
What does it look like?
You see, there's a lot of pieces that going through my head, but I'm trying to figure out which specific one. All I know is the first piece I ever saw by you that I was like, that I think even made me find you. As soon as I like move out the city, most likely I'm getting it tattooed. So it's very funny, like, you know what I'm saying? I found it. It's like, I've definitely shown it to you, and I've definitely been like, oh yeah, I'm getting this tattooed on me. And it's like a picture. It's an old drawing you did of like some dude. It's you essentially. Headshot, cartoon like drawing, X's on the eyes, tongue out, hearts over his head, but the hearts are asses.
Yeah.
Hearts are asses.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I have that piece on my wall. He was supposed to be the guy. That was it was like me, but I named him Jack. Like, that was supposed to be my mascot because I'm a jack of all trades. I wanted him to be the guy for me. And then looking back at his old art, it's like he is literally just me and Lust combined. So now that I've separated the characters, I'm like, his essence is still there within my art.
That's interesting. Wow.
But I have that poster right on my wall next to my bed. That was my
first
shit.
drawing I think I ever saw by you that made me even find you. First day I saw it, I was like, I'm getting that tattoo somewhere on my body. I gotta figure out where it would fit with the themes I'm getting. And I'm like, yeah, no, that gotta go somewhere. And I remember like one of my first like instances of ever hitting you up. I was like, yo, your work is dope. And by the way, getting this tatted, by the way. And then I think you had told me like, yeah, I have this on my wall. I was like, no, yeah, great piece. I think and that's what I'm saying, like, that's like my first notion of your art. So to know that as like the first piece I saw to like your most recent shit, you see years of progression essentially. And with that being said, so you have whoa, more son.
Always once.
There we go.
There we go.
No, yeah, I know. Shit. Okay, so yeah, you have Lust tattooed on you. That's one of how many tattoos?
I have 11 now.
11? I felt like you had more in my head.
I feel like I have more in
my
head.
You know?
Till I was talking to my friend because she got a new tattoo. I was like, oh, how much you got now? I think I'm like, I'm big with 11. She's like, oh yeah, 20. I'm like, fuck. I gotta catch up.
I wish we would have asked Amadi, but I'm pretty sure Amadi's going upwards of 30. I think she said it on the show. She's upwards of 30 now. I'm like, yeah, no.
That's like, at that point, like, you're dedicating your body to art, you know?
Yeah,
but that's definitely like, yeah, no, like, our first interview was our homegirl Amadi, and her whole like sleeve is tatted. I know she has a piece right there. I know she has a couple on her thighs, and I'm like, wow, yeah. That's the goal, you know what I'm saying? Like, facts. 11. Is that your favorite one?
Lust? My favorite tattoo changes all the time. Sometimes I have a butterfly on my ribs. Sometimes it's that one. I have an Afro pick on my other side of my ribs. Sometimes it's that one. For the most part, I love my Lust tat. But which one is it? It's this one. And then, my new favorite. Sometimes it's this one, which is nice. Pride's Mirror. Can I catch you in the camera?
Kind of, yeah, kind of.
You better go to my Instagram.
That's nice.
But yeah, this is basically Pride's Mirror because I didn't want Lust to be the only one of my characters that I have tatted. So I just got this one.
The red on that is really nice.
Thank you.
Really beautifully done.
That shit worried me because it did not heal right at all.
Really?
Because it was I didn't moisturize it well enough. So near the end of the healing process, it kind of like crumpled. And the skin just like, it was mad wrinkly. I was so paranoid. I was like, fuck, I fucked up. That shit crazy.
Oh my God,
damn,
no.
Where do you recommend to get tatted in the city?
There's a spot that I go to for most of my tats, more than half. Out of the 11, I have like 6 from the same shop. And I actually just got my most recent one there. Hell's Kitchen Inc. It's on 48th and 10th.
Okay. I know the shop, but I just don't know the location.
I know it's walking distance for me because, I'm walking everywhere. I got long ass legs. I'll be telling people it's walking distance, then we start walking. It's like, fuck, we're not there yet. I'm like, bro, we just started
walking. Like, wow.
But yeah, that's basically my main spot. And my most recent tattoo is the logo from Gurren Lagann. I don't know if you watched that one. You watched it?
Yeah. I don't know who you're talking to. Oh God.
Yeah, I got the Team Gurren logo tatted on my leg because I really love something about leg tattoos.
They're nice.
I got the Joker's face kind of tatted on my right calf.
That was tough, yeah.
And he was just there by himself for mad long.
Yeah.
Like, I never wore shorts, nothing like that, because I liked it, but I didn't, I actually went to Hell's Kitchen for that one too, but that's not the tattoo I went there for. I wanted to get artist tatted on my right wrist, but it was too high on my wrist. So the artist was like, oh, it's not going to heal right. It's going to be because the skin moves around too much. So I left the shop. Me and my friend left the shop. I'm like, damn, I ain't come out
here to not get a tattoo when I was going to get a tattoo.
That shit was so ingrained in my head.
For sure.
So I had a grinder on me that was a Joker themed grinder. And on the top was this picture. It was just like a black outline of Joker's face. And I'm like, I'm getting that shit. So I just brought it to him, found the picture online, and then I got it tattooed that day. And then since then, I kind of like tattoos, but the obsession with them didn't start until Lust got there.
Yeah.
Son, I need to finish my leg now. But the only problem is that I realized when getting this one on my bicep is that all of a sudden I developed a twitch in my right leg when I get tats. So while I was getting the Joker tat, I twitched on an important line. Sheesh. So like there's kind of a little skip, but it's like it's curved enough to where you don't see it. And the most recent one, I twitched during that one. And it's like, damn, because that's the leg I want to get tatted. So I don't know how I'm gonna go through that one. But Lust, funny enough, that was the worst tattoo experience of my life.
Really?
Yes. The shop that I went to isn't even there no more. That's how bad it was for me.
Wow.
Because I hit up some girl, or I asked my IG, like, yo, what's a good tattoo spot to go to? They gave me some shorty on the gram. I looked at her page. I'm like, yo, she does some fire shit. I go to the shop, and just setting up an appointment was a hassle. Mm-hmm. But getting to the shop, I get there on the day that it's supposed to be. She's late, whatever. Finally get there. She started tatting me up. And I'm zoned out. For all of 11 of my tats, for 10 out of 11, I'm always chatting it up with the tattoo artist. Like, I've all had full conversations with some of them. But for whatever reason, that time, I zoned out. Put my headphones on, my noise-canceling headphones, and I was zoned out. And then I'm sitting there, and she tatting my leg, and I just feel nauseous. I'm like, nah, hold on. I don't want to just throw up, like, right on the
right on this.
Well, disrespectful.
Yeah. So I tell her, like, yo, hold on, give me a second, let me go walk it off. Mind you, I'm so focused on my stomach, I don't realize that my eyes is like, I can't see shit. Like, you know when you look at a light for too long and there's like that purple light? Yeah, that was my whole vision. But I didn't realize until I get up and I'm like, oh shit, hold on, I got it way too fast. I take 2 steps, boom, slam right on the floor. Passed out. And as soon as I hit the ground, I woke up like, shit, what happened? Everybody's like, oh, you passed out, blah, blah, blah. I gave him some orange juice. Son, I got up. Yo, let's finish this shit. Like, no, we're not touching you again. What are you talking about? Shorty sent me home with a half-finished tat. I was tight. Mind you, I rode my bike there.
Oh my god.
So you passed out from pain?
I passed out because I didn't eat before. That's what they told me. It was like, oh, you got to eat before, blah, blah. I had a big, beautiful plate of food waiting for me. I was like, I'm going to just save this as like a reward. My dumb ass. Yeah, man. I passed out, came back, and I can tell because I passed out while she was doing some of the shading, but it was like, it was important shading because there's nothing else in that area except for shading, but it's not an important part of the tat. So when I went there, she didn't start from where she ended. So there's just this one line that looks good, but to me, I feel like she might have forgot to put something else.
Right.
And that's just one of the many mistakes in this shit. And this is the tat that I designed. Out of all of them, it's the only one that I designed. So I'm seeing all the shit that's wrong. She misspelled my fucking shit. And then,
that's OD.
Yo.
That's OD.
The bad thing about it, I didn't realize because I went home with the half-finished tattoo. I didn't realize because we rescheduled for 2 weeks. I didn't realize until a week after. I'm just sitting, drinking some shit. I take a picture for the gram of my tattoo peeking out because the word is the only thing that's finished. I put it up. No, I'm about to put it up. I'm looking at it. I'm like, hold on, what that should say?
What is it supposed to say?
It's supposed to say temptation, but she forgot the second T. So it's just Temptation.
Temptation.
Oh my god.
Temptation.
I'm tight.
Yo, my stomach dropped. I pulled my shorts up like,
I'm looking at the picture. I'm looking at the picture now. I see where they had to like stick a T in there.
Yeah.
That's fucked up,
That
bro.
shit hurt. That shit hurt my heart. I was like, me of all people, bro.
Damn, and I've seen mad videos about misspelled tattoos too.
Yo,
that's like one of my biggest fears. Like
watching them shits, man.
Karma.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Would you ever get that touched up, like recovered?
Yeah. When I went back to finish the tat, like I brought it up to her ASAP, like, yo, this shit is misspelled. Thinking, all right, we just gonna cover it with something else. I'm looking at tattoos of like black roses and shit to cover it up. She laughs like, oh, okay, ha ha ha.
And adds it.
I'm like, you know what?
That's OD, yo.
It's fine. I love
you live and you learn, though.
Nah, facts. OD.
I'm just happy you don't love the tattoo any less. You know?
Yeah.
No, it's
I can't let
tattoo.
myself do that. I can't let myself do that.
No, yeah.
Because overall, it still encompasses who Lust is, even though he looks completely different now since my art style has changed so much. But I was just, his essence is there. But since that one is a little fucked up, best believe I might get a couple more just in the area just to make up for it. But I
believe
don't
you.
know.
No, I see it happening for sure. Wow, tattoos are amazing. I think tattoos
Facts,
are great.
facts.
Oh, you need to.
Bro,
come on, bro. You need to get on the wave,
I'm
son.
indecisive. Rona.
He is indecisive though.
I want to get So if you caught up to One Piece, everyone, all the weebs out there, the moon tattoo, the backwards moon.
Yes,
on the
ankle. Yeah.
I think that's gonna be a deep cut. I think that's gonna be a fire. I don't want that to be
beautiful.
first though. Like, damn, I want like something I can like fake see. I got some shit working. I'm just like, damn. I'm just wild indecisive. I don't know. I have to like literally go to a parlor.
Bro, I'm telling you, like, I'm gonna book an appointment and just be like, yeah, I'm booking for 2 people. Like, I need somebody else to get a tattoo, and I'm bringing you with me. Like,
shit, you could do walk-ins in Hell's Kitchen Inc. That's how as long as it's small, you can just walk in and then they'll hook you up. And my next tat is actually gonna be a One Piece tattoo, so I'm glad you said that.
Interesting. What you going
for? I'm getting the Jolly Roger on me.
Nice.
I don't know where yet. I would have gotten it before the Gurren Lagann one because the One Piece is like my anime. Like that's number one for me. But I'm indecisive on where I want to put it and like what I want it to look like. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hold off on that for a little bit.
I think now that you say that, I think went to Going Merry now. On like behind like on my cab or some shit. I feel like that thing's like adventure, like that's how like the first boat how it started. Nigga Usopp like this is Going Merry, my nigga like tight shit. When niggas had to fucking plowed that shit up, he was tight.
Son, and then you saw the fairy that was fixing it. That shit almost shed a tear to my eye, bro. And Going Merry was like, y'all got one more ride, and then I'm out. And then this shit just broke under them. Oh man, I almost cried during that anime so many times, bro.
Nah, in fact, you know what's crazy? It's funny. I started that anime with like, not a love hate relationship. I hated that shit. Like the first episode I ever seen was like in like the first arc where like Luffy's running against like this dude named like Silver Fox, like way before like Chopper's not there. I think it's just him, Zoro, and like they're just in a race. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? That was like my first like
like introduction
to the show. And me and my bro, I'm like, yo, like this shit is dumb. Like it doesn't make any sense. And then he starts watching, like, bro, like you should low key start. I'm like, no, like you're wilding. This shit is this shit is trash. She's like, bro, just get to the time skip. Promise.
Yeah, I didn't even
by the
know
time
that
you get there, you're gonna
skip,
fuck with it. So you're gonna keep on going. So I was like, all right, and completely, bro. I binge watched that shit. Just like they were already in the new world, so I had to like start from like season 1 and catch up to like what. Maybe 500 episodes, maybe more. So
that's the problem with One Piece. They got so many episodes. It's so hard to get people to commit. That took me like a year to catch up. I can't tell niggas that. Like, yo, watch One Piece. How many episodes I have? Like 967.
But you tell me like, yo, you can start halfway though. There's literally a point where you can start and it's like low key, like, you know what I'm saying?
Is there?
Yeah, but like,
I can do that.
Because
I'm not starting from the beginning.
You can definitely do that.
I'm not starting from the beginning.
Every season is a different island. So as long as you don't start like in the middle of a specific arc, you're good. You can start anywhere and you'll have a good time.
At the new world, right? After Annie's lobby type shit, like meet up.
That's the best.
Yeah,
that's the
no, I'm saying
one.
you would miss.
I just don't.
That's
what I'm saying. I just don't feel comfortable starting any anime not from the beginning.
No, yeah, 'cause
so I'm like,
One Piece has been going on for so long, and that's another thing I love about it. The art style changes drastically throughout the thing. Like if you watch the first episode compared to the newest episode, it's like
drip every arc.
Yo, drip. My boy Luffy be coming out with fresh vests every island for no reason.
oh my god.
But the only thing, it's like you can start One Piece at certain points. But for me, One Piece hits different because Luffy, for me, that nigga came out with nobody knowing him. That boy had zero belly on his head. And now all of a sudden you say his name and everybody is shook.
Yeah, bro.
So that shit just hits different for me. But you don't really need to see all of that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like to get to like, you know, because all that was just like prologue, literally, to get to like the meat and potatoes of like, all right, so this is the team, you met the team, now this is the objective, you know, like you already knew what the objective was from jump, but the team forming, you know, that was like all of like half the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, like literally I feel like every character got at least 100 episodes for like backstory. Like
probably
on some weird
type
shit. Chopper, like that shit, low key, I was bored.
Chopper was my guy.
I was bored. He's my guy, but I was bored. Like, it was mad cold and shit.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, you know, he don't get no work in. I don't know.
Chad, don't disrespect my boy Chopper. Yeah. Matter of fact, damn, I can't say this because all the anime heads is gonna be tight. But like, now that I think about it, Chopper is just, well, I can't say that about the new Chopper, but Chopper at first is pretty much like the Sakura of the team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because he was just there to heal niggas. That's it.
But just less annoying.
Way less annoying. Chopper is adorable.
Yeah. High key. That song's only worth 50.
Yo, no, it's 100 now. Don't disrespect them. They upped it to 100. Okay, I have every wanted poster on my wall. My boy is there with his little 100.
No.
Sure.
That's fire, bro. And One Piece is like a huge, like, it's more than a show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a cultural.
That's been there for
I remember, I forgot what collaboration they did with what company, bro, but like they just dripped out Luffy and Zoro and like I don't know, bro, I forgot what fucking clothing brand it was, bro. I'm like, yo, this is tough, bro. And like just to show that like it's more than like just a show, especially in Japan. Here it's like, you know what I'm saying? But there, bro, it's larger than life. And
so
to see people's like art get that level, you know, like would you ever want like your show like animated or your
Hell
book?
Yeah, that's the goal. That is literally the goal. Right now, I'm starting, or the way my comic is, since I'm doing so much, I am writing it out as a novel, just so I can have the backstory there. Because as I'm writing it, I don't want to put them out separate, because as I'm writing stuff and then going and draw it, I'm like, okay, hold on. I like Wrath to look this way, and I like him, because at first, Wrath was a winged child. Like he was, like I said, he's half angel, half demon. So I was like, I wanted him to have black, beautiful wings. But now that he's redesigned, it's like he, no spoilers. Just right now, he don't got them wings. He don't got them wings. Because I had to change a few things. So, I had to go back in the story and then rewrite it all, because it just how I wanted him to look drastically changed the whole storyline.
Right.
So now I'm just writing everything down so that I can bring it into the comic. And once the visuals is there, then if I can get better at animation, then I'll definitely animate it myself. But you know, if I get to a point where Crunchyroll hits me up like, yo, bro, that webtoon is lit. We gonna have to give you a studio. I'm with
shout
it.
out webtoons, yo.
No,
they out here giving bags to animators off webtoon, bro.
That's
Shit's lit.
Yeah, bro. Fuck.
Wow.
Wow, man, that's really amazing, bro.
I love that anime tangent. That was so nice.
This was crazy for me because I'm just like, wow. I've always thought about like, damn, what if I start writing fiction? I'm like, yo, that's so hard. You know, I don't know anyone who like, you know, like writes narratively like novel, like, bro. I'm just like.
This nigga never listens to me, bro. He always be acting up for people, bro. Like, we don't be having these comments. Tell him to just write.
It's hard, bro. Like, so, okay, so
like,
what's your tips for like people who are trying to get into like novel writing and like, you know, create? For me, my biggest thing is like
creating the world.
With the world building, you know, I have a problem with like, damn, do I have to like describe this shit and everything, or like, do I start in a world where no one knows? Do I start in a world where people know and like build into that type thing? So I'm just like, you know, how do you do that? You know,
I'm kind of figuring that out now as well, because as much as I write, I'm not much of a reader, because like I said, I can't really focus too well. So like I'll read something, and it was heavy when I was reading the poetry books, because I read mad at them, but it's like I would read 2-3 poems, like I can write my shit right now. I would read one word and be like, okay, I can flip this better. So I'll start writing some things. So it's like so now I'm trying to read more novels so that I see how they build the world, how they describe certain things, So they'll have like, oh, she walked in, you can smell blah 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 blah, and now I have to take that and then kind of build it in my own way. But since I'm so focused on the visual, it's like I kind of have to find ways, creative ways to like pack in those same visuals in the words.
Right.
So it's just difficult to find the balance between building a world and then talking about the same scene for pages, and pretty much nothing's happened because you're so focused on trying to describe where they're at, and then instead of what they're doing. So what I do is just I pretty much focus on the characters, because since I want it to be an anime or a comic, it's pretty dialogue driven. So I'll set the world, and then just have the characters talk about what's going on. So it's a lot easier rather than just you're narrating everything. It's like, oh, the character is like, okay, yeah, we're here, it's cold. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So it's just like choosing when to describe it. Like you describe it in pieces early, and then as you go along, just fit in little details that are important, but like write them as in like just things that
are happening.
Yeah. Because one writing technique, I don't even know if it's a technique. One writing something is Chekhov's gun, where it's like there was I don't know the official shit. I just know my rendition of it. So it's basically like if there's a gun in a scene, if they show you a gun in a scene in a movie, TV show, whatever, you're gonna see that gun go off eventually in the season or in the story. So it's basically like you write things like oh, it's a snowy day, and then that cold, the feeling of being cold will come back later and like be very important to the characters. So it's like they're going out on a snowy night, and then the way that story is written, you'll think that they're just passing through the snow, but then you got another few pages later and that they're frozen, like stuck. So now what before was just world building is now a conflict in the story.
Right.
So it's just important to read and see how other people do it, and then do it your own way, because art is literally at its core, it's thievery. You're just taking it.
No,
literally, there's a book. I don't remember what the name of the book is. I think it's just Art for Thieves or something like that describes it perfectly, where it's just you're literally just taking existing ideas and then molding it in the way to where it seems like it's an original idea, but there's no original thoughts in the world. So it's really just you putting your spin on everything. Like the 7 deadly sins have been around for a long time, but no rendition of the sins are like mine.
Right.
So it's just, putting my own spin on everything.
Word.
Oh. Wow. I like that. I like that you asked that question.
Facts.
That was a great question. That was a really good question.
I ask myself that question all the time. Like, how am I going to do this shit?
Hey, man. We try to pull out a free game when we can from our guests. I feel like our guests our guests have a lot of gems. They all come from different walks of life.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can't be selfish with those gems either. And that's one thing I learned quickly in my career as an artist is like a lot of artists, if you reach out to them for anything, they won't tell you. Like they're moving mad stingy. Like you said, New York people bougie as hell. Yep. Some of us.
Yeah.
So, one key point for me, very key point for me, was when I watched Marcus Prime draw live once. Like that was the only time I caught him live, and he was just coloring one of his drawings, and I asked him, "Yo, what sketchbook are you using?" And then he dead ass told me like, "Yo, I'm using the render sketchbook, blah blah blah." And that was so important for me because at the time I was using markers, pencils only, and Copic markers are an alcohol-based marker, so they stay wet for long enough for you to blend markers and all that.
Right.
But if you blend too much or if you use too much, they'll bleed into the next page. Yeah. So what kind of paper and what sketchbook you use is very, very important. So once he told me that one and I used it, and it's like everything that I do is on this one page, and then I flip back and this whole page is clear. So now that gives me full freedom. I don't have to worry about the paper crumbling. I don't have to worry about the colors bleeding into it, and it just changed my entire art style.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yep. So now anytime any artist asks me for anything, I reply ASAP. Like, yo, what printer do you use? I use the Pixman Pro 100. Boom. What paper? Pro Luster. Boom. It's like, where do you get your sticker paper from? Amazon. Send you the link. Whatever. I just try to be as helpful as I can, because a lot of people, when they get up and they try to ask the people that they look up to, it's like they're not telling.
They're dead not. I don't know. There's always that notion of like everybody got to be the only one out to make it. So it's like free game is hard to come by sometimes.
Word, yeah.
I think this generation of artists and creatives is different. I think this generation is very much like about helping each other out. Because a lot of us realize like we are only in the positions we're in because people helped us out and people gave us some free game at some point in life. And, you know, just a pay it forward kind of thing. Oh, wow. Yeah. Being in the city breeds two types of people, and I always say it, you know.
Fact.
Always talk about that, and I bring it up almost every episode just because it's so relevant to every artist I talk to, where it's like there's either the people that's just hustling and trying to make it out their own way, and then there's the people that's helping to put people on, and you're either meeting one or the other. There's really no in between. Because niggas is either haters or they want to see everyone win. It's one or the other, really, to be honest. But with that being said, you know, city culture, we're actually coming into our wrap-up. And as always, our final talk, our final segment, it's Lingo Talk with the Lingo. You know, you are a Brooklyn kid. You're a Brooklyn head.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
Brooklyn,
saying?
big Brooklyn.
You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of
Best
y'all.
borough.
Oh, 100%. No, yeah. Oh, we have a lot of y'all in this season. And as we ask all of our guests, what is your favorite lingo term from Brooklyn that you either use, don't use, and you just heard it, but it's like one of your favorites? You could give me a couple if you want.
I'm definitely going to give you a couple. I'm not going to pick one. Because I've accepted that I have a thick Brooklyn accent, and I love it.
Yeah, you do.
One that was old that I started using again was fizz.
Wow.
Niggas say fizz instead of fizz.
Wow.
I cannot stop saying fizz no more.
Wow, nice. Thank you for that one. That was a nice little throwback.
Fizz, I'm crying.
Fizz.
I remember hating that shit.
I remember hating that shit too.
Son, that shit was hilarious. People put F-I and then the Z. Just sleep. Oh my gosh. Because I started saying certain shit as a joke, and that's what really made my accent so thick. It's like people would say some shit, I'm like, yo, this shit sounds stupid. I'm saying it.
I'm saying
and
it.
And I was there forever.
That's a fact.
So it's that one. And then nobody, I don't remember who said it, but nobody says suck my dick better than a New Yorker.
That's a fact. That's a big fact, yo, because it comes from a core.
Yeah.
It comes out of, it comes from the heart. That shit comes from the gut, man. You're like, yo.
With all due
disrespect. All due disrespect. Suck my, yo. No, that's wow.
Fact.
Great.
And then as fuck as you talking about,
Fuck
all one word.
All one word. Facts.
Yeah, what else? Oh, man. So many.
Yeah, no,
The
but
lingo's so deep. The lingo's so deep, so expensive.
so abundant.
So abundant. Hey, man, that's the city way. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody got lingo like the city. Nobody got drip like the city. Nobody got people like the city. Nobody got an attitude like the city.
No.
City just, you know, city way, best way.
I love my city.
Only way. Feel me? But with that being said, y'all, it's your homie ATM.
It's your boy O.
And, yo, we had Kelan on the show today, Afro Thee Artisan. Such a great guest. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yo, of course, anytime. Y'all got to tune in if you're not tuned in. And if you're not tuned in, you sleeping, and we don't sleep over here. But with that being said, y'all, stay up, be easy. Thank y'all for tuning in to season 4, episode 4. And, yeah, that's it.
Later,
Peace.
y'all.